Hello listeners, I am Dr. Anuj Sharma. Today we are going to discuss the application of the stresses and strains. So, this is very important topic of the strength of material, and today we will discuss the extension of bars. Bars means rods. So, because in daily life we generally see there are different types of beams, different types of rods, which generally we use as the structural member in our buildings, in our daily life. So, we should know how different types of loading behaves, their deformation, how they affect the working of these rods. So, different types of different types of loading on these particular bars. So, this is the outline of my lecture. We will discuss the change in the length of a bar subjected to a loading, then elongation of a uniformly tapering bar. Different types of rods may be uniform cross sectional rod or it is a varying cross sectional rod. Then we will discuss the bars in series or parallel, and then we will take some numerical problems, and apart from this we will also discuss the thermal stresses induced in the rods. So, let us say we will take very simple example. So, this is the uniform cross sectional rod, this is the rectangular rod. So, let us consider a rectangular bar whose cross sectional area is A. If we will see this rod from the right side, we will see the area, let us say area of this cross sectional bar is A. We are applying some force F on these two directions, and these are the stresses which are being induced inside the object just to resist the deformation caused by the externally applied force. But if it is not sufficient to resist the externally applied force, so what will happen to the rod? It will elongate the rod. So, let us say this delta L. So, this delta L is the elongation in the rod. So, our aim is to calculate the formula for determining the extension of the rod if some force is being applied to this object. So, in previous lectures we have already discussed that longitudinal strain. So, there are two types of strains we already discussed, one is longitudinal strain, another one is the lateral strain. Longitudinal strain means along the length of the object or along the direction of application of the force. So, this is the longitudinal strain means change in length upon original length. So, change in length is how much? Delta L, and what is the original length? It was L. So, delta L would be how much from this formula? This epsilon longitudinal. So, epsilon longitudinal multiplied by length. If we will reshuffle the things numerator and denominator here and there, then we will get this equation. Now, after this longitudinal strain will be equal to, so what is this strain? Strain we have from the Hooke's law. What is this? E multiplied by epsilon is equal to sigma. So, what is the epsilon here? Sigma upon E. So, we can put sigma upon E here, and sigma is equal to F by A also. So, what is the value of this stress? Stress is internal resistance force divided by the area. So, this is the internal resistance force and this is the area. So, stress would be how much? F by A. So, when we will put these two values in the formula, so it will give delta L is equal to F L upon A E. So, this is the standard formula which we can use to determine the elongation of the rod when it is subjected to the tensile or compressive direct loading. Direct means normal loading. So, whenever a rod is being subjected to a normal load of F, so this stress is also the F. So, this is the normal load divided multiplied by the length of the rod upon A into E. So, it means the elongation is directly dependent on the force as well as on the length. So, it means if any rod will have large length as compared to the other length, then automatically the elongation would be more in the longer section. Similarly, it is inversely proportional to the area and elasticity. If any object would have more or higher elasticity, then delta L would be lesser. Okay. So, this is a standard formula. So, we have to remember it, or it is very simple to derive. Whenever we want to use it, we can derive this formula. Now, in simple steps we will take 2 3 more different types of rods, then we will come back to the series or combination of the rod series in or in parallel. So, here it is not uniformly cross sectional bar, it is varying cross sectional bar. So, here the diameter is d and here the diameter is small d this. So, when we want to pull it down or we want to keep it like this also. So, let us say this is the rod, here the diameter is small d, here the diameter is capital D, and if we are applying this much of force here P, here P. So, it is the same situation there. So, just to compensate this load, what we have done? We have grounded this surface, we have fixed that surface. So, these two situations are comparable and same, almost same. So, if we want to pull it down, then what would be the elongation in this rod? If we have some standard values, then we have to derive a formula and later on we can apply those formulas directly to the numerical problems. So, let us consider a bar which has diameter d at one end and diameter small d at the another end. So, what we can see? We can consider this element. So, let us say consider this element, we will calculate the elongation in this portion with the application of this load P, then we will integrate the length elongation of this particular member from here to there. So, at let us say this is at a distance of x. So, from here to here it is x and the thickness of this is dx. So, it will also behave like a member, right. So, we will pull it down. So, now what would be the length of this particular section? So, we have already derived that formula, it is load multiplied by length upon area multiplied by E. In the previous slide we have already explained the formula. So, here if it is the rod, so what would be the length of this rod? It is dx. So, the length of the rod is dx, this is the load. In series we can see the load is shared by all the members. So, the load would be same P. So, we can see here. So, delta L is equal to P into L, L means here it is dx, P L upon A, Ax, Ax is what? It is the area of this. So, it means if we will see like this, it would be like this. So, this is the area. So, it means area depends on the diameter. So, it is circular. So, it means what would be the area? That would be equal to pi by 4 multiplied by dx square. So, it means here we are having the diameter d, here we are having the diameter capital D. So, at this particular point at a distance of x from here to there. So, it means the diameter will have the value in between small d and capital D. So, let us say the diameter is dx. So, how we can calculate the dx? So, dx can be calculated by this. So, it would be equal to d plus something. So, here it is small d, it is capital D. So, if we are moving from here to there, so what is happening? So, diameter is increasing. So, it means at this point the diameter will be little bit more than the diameter which we are having at this point. So, diameter is increasing. So, it means d plus something. So, d plus something how much? It is linearly varying, it is varying, but it is linearly varying. So, it means from here to here, let us say if you want to calculate the slope and all these things. So, this is a very simple formula. So, d plus something. So, d plus at this point capital D, at this point just linear formula which we are applying, d minus d, it is the variation for how much length? L. So, for unitary length would be how much? Capital D minus small d upon L, and how much distance we have travelled? X. So, what would be the formula? So, capital D minus small d upon L into x. So, it is the factor which we have to add in D. So, total diameter at this point would be how much? So, this is the dx. So, this total value would be dx. So, it means if you want to apply this formula P, so this is the P dx, this is dx, this is upon Ax, Ax is how much? Pi by 4, it is circular, pi by 4 dx square. So, it means this is equal to pi by 4 dx square. So, pi by 4, 4 means this. So, it has gone to this place. So, pi by 4 dx square, right, and this is the E, this E. So, this is for this much of length, and if you want to calculate the elongation for whole rod, then it means we have to integrate it from x is equal to 0 here and x is equal to L here. So, we have to integrate this value from 0 to L. So, by upon integration we will get this formula. So, this formula we have to remember, 4 times load multiplied by length of the rod divided by pi 3.14 multiplied by modulus of elasticity and big diameter, small diameter. So, this formula we have to remember. Now, extension of bar or rod under its own weight. Let us say this is the rod, cylindrical rod like this is hanged like this. So, it will have some weight. So, because of its own weight, what may happen to its length over a period of time, due to its weight it can come down, the elongation may happen to this rod. So, that elongation we want to calculate because of its own weight. So, let us say this is the rod, and it is having some weight. So, here it is fixed. So, the overall weight of this object will act downward. So, it will try to elongate it. So, it is quite similar to that. So, as we have done in the previous problem, it is little bit simpler to that problem. So, same we can also do here. We can find out some small elementary element at a distance of x of thickness dx. So, we can have this element, and as we can see from this diagram, the total body which is below this elementary area, this, it will try to pull this object downward. So, elongation in this portion would be due to this load, whatever load is lower than this particular strip. So, here we can see. So, the downward force acting on this strip is due to the weight of the bar. This bar that is lies below this element and is equal to this. Let us say rho is the density of this material of which this rod is being made. Area is the area of cross section, because it is uniform. So, area would be same throughout the length from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to L, and this is the x, the distance of this. So, it will behave, if we will cut here. So, it will behave like a cylinder whose area of cross section is A and length is x and rho is the density. So, the volume of this rod would be area into x, area into length, that would be the volume, multiplied by density, that will be the mass, and if we multiply it by g, it will give you the weight. So, this is the mass, or if rho is not the density, it is specific weight, then it would be equal to in Newton. So, here we can see the elongation in the elementary rod of thickness dx caused by this weight is. So, it would be quite similar to the previous problem. So, here we can see the formula is what? Load into L upon A into E. So, this is the formula. So, for delta L, what is the formula? Load L upon A into E. So, we can apply here. So, here P into L upon A into E. So, if you want to replace this P, P is what? It is the load, P is the load. So, P is load means, so what is the load? Load means this, it is the weight. So, weight is equal to load. So, weight we can replace this P into A into x dx divided by A into E as it is. So, A is in numerator, here A is in denominator, it will be cancel out, and we can say delta L is equal to delta L in this particular strip, that would be equal to this much, rho x dx upon E. If you want to calculate for whole length, whole rod, then we have to integrate it. So, integrate from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to L. So, upon integration what we will get? It would be equal to W L upon 2 A E. So, W is what? It is the weight, L is the length, 2 A is the cross sectional area, that would be same for whole length, and E is the modulus of elasticity. So, this is the formula we have to remember for the rod due to its own weight. So, this formula we have to remember. Now, simple, if we want to calculate for single rod, then it would be very easy, we can apply those formula directly. But if we want to, because in daily life generally we do not have single element, we have combinations of element, then this concept combinations of bars or compound bars or series or parallel bars comes into the picture. So, it means we have to discuss this change in length of the bars in series. So, there are two combinations, one series, one parallel. Series means 1 by 1. So, here this, it is the series combination. Then we have to see for the parallel combination also. So, in series combination the load is shared by equal element equally. So, that is why we can see, so this is P1 is equal to P2 is equal to P3 is equal to P4. So, this is the P1, P2, P3 load shared by this, the cross sectional area of these elements is different, material of these elements are different. So, let us say A1 is the cross sectional area of this, A2 is this, A3 is this. So, and length of these rods are different, L1, L2, L3, and these rods are of different material. So, modulus of elasticity for these rods would be different. So, here if we stretch this compound bar, what will happen? This rod will elongate it to some another length. Now, its length is L1 plus L2 plus L3. After stretching it may become L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus something. So, that plus something may be L1 plus delta L1, L2 plus delta L2, it may also increase up to some length, it may also increase up to some additional length, some. So, delta L1 is the elongation in this, plus delta L2 is the elongation in this, and delta L3 is the elongation in this. So, if we combine all these three elongations together, then we can have total elongation delta L. So, that is why delta L1 plus delta L2 plus delta L3, this is equal to delta L. So, in previous questions we have already derived this formula. So, delta L in a single rod, that is how much? P L upon A E. So, here we can say P1 L1 upon A1 E1 plus P2 L2 upon A2 E2 plus P3 L3 upon A3 E3. So, here we can see P1 is equal to P2 is equal to P3. So, P1, so we can have the same value for here, it is the P1, L1 we have been given, A1 we have been given, E1 we have been given. So, we can calculate the total elongation. So, rods in series is very simple. Now, if we talk about the rods in parallel, parallel means just like the riffle or inside the ball pen. So, these two are concentric rods. So, this is the parallel combinations of the rods. So, if you will see the cross section of this, so it may be the outer material and it may be the inside material. So, this material may be green, this material may be blue. So, this is a cross sectional view of this particular rod. So, here we can see if we stretch this rod, so P here, P here. So, it means just like the stool, if we are sitting on the stool, what will happen to the legs? Our load is being shared equally by the 4 legs if all the 4 legs are identical and that platform is horizontal, right. Similarly, here, so if we apply the rods in parallel. So, this load would be shared by these two different materials, may be equally, may be unequally, depending upon various parameters or factors. So, the original length was L. Now, we want to calculate the elongation in this rod. So, for elongation, if you want to calculate, so here this load would be shared. So, P is equal to P 1 plus P 2, and delta L would be how much? The delta L 1 means elongation in first rod, that would be equal to elongation in the second rod, because these two rods are parallel and they will have equal elongation. So, they may have different forces, but they may have different area, they may have different modulus of elasticity, but they will have same elongation. So, delta L 1 is equal to delta L 2. So, we will have two equations here. One equation is P is equal to P 1 plus P 2, another equation is delta L is equal to delta L 1 is equal to delta L 2. So, we know the formula for delta L 1. So, that delta L 1 is P 1 L 1 upon A 1 E 1. So, here it is L 1 L 2. So, P 1 L 1 upon A 1 E 1 like this, but as we know that length are equal, length are same. So, L 1 is equal to L 2. So, we can cancel out these two, L 1 is equal to L 2. So, the formula which we have P 1 upon A 1 E 1 is equal to P 2 upon A 2 E 2. So, like this way, if out of these 6 variables we are having 5 variables, then we can calculate the remaining variable for this, right. So, now we can have small numerical, very small numerical. So, an engineer's measuring tape made up of steel is 30 meter long, length is given, has a rectangular cross section of 6 mm by 1 mm. So, this is dimensions for calculating the area, cross sectional area. So, we have been given the force as well as modulus of elasticity of this material, all these 4 values are given. So, we have standard formula. So, it is like this. So, this is the measuring tape, let us say little bit similar to this dimension, and here we are force applying, we are applying. So, this is the cross sectional area. So, it is 6 by 1, 6 by 1. So, 6 mm square is the area. So, here, so it is very simple, direct straightforward numerical. So, we can apply P L upon A E. So, we want to calculate the elongation in the measuring tape. So, that would be equal to P is the 40 Newton, L is the length. So, length is given in the meter. So, we can convert it into the millimeter, divided by 6 into 1 mm square multiplied by modulus of elasticity. So, modulus of elasticity was given 200 into giga means 10 raised to the power 9 Newton per meter square. So, we can convert it into Newton per millimeter square. So, by multiplying it with 10 raised to the power minus 6. So, we can get the elongation in that tape is 1 mm. So, it is very simple, straightforward numerical. Now, we will take the another numerical, it is having the combinations of two formulas. So, here we can see this steel wire 10 mm in diameter. So, it is the cylindrical wire having 10 mm diameter, and for hosting purpose in building construction if 150 mm. So, let us highlight the data given. So, it is the steel diameter is given 150 mm of the wire. So, let us say L is given, is hanging vertically and a load of 800 Newton. So, this F or P it is given, the weight density of the steel is. So, this weight density is given to find out the total weight of the wire, and E modulus of elasticity is given. So, all this data is given. Now, he is asking determine the total elongation of the wire, total elongation of the wire. So, if he has given the weight density, it means we have to apply two formulae. First single formula is W L upon 2 A E due to weight, because weight is given na. So, we cannot ignore the weight. If weight is not given, then we can ignore the weight. If weight is given, we cannot ignore. So, and first formula is this total elongation if we are applying some force on an object. So, it is stretching the object. So, that is the PL upon AE or WL upon AE or whatever it is, FL upon AE. So, for this we have been given the value of P, we have been given the value of length, length is given already 150 meter upon area of the cross section. So, wire is like this. So, this area is given. So, this area is 3 pi by 4 d square, that diameter is given 10 mm. So, we can convert it into the meter and into modulus of elasticity. So, we can calculate by using this. So, it is due to this loading, how much load? 150 Newton. So, by applying 150 Newton we have stretching of the wire, and by due to its own weight it will have certain elongation. So, we will calculate these two things separately and then we can club, we can add these two elongations. And second is due to its own weight. So, because of its own weight it is also stretching the wire downward. So, that is WL upon 2 AE. So, pi by 4 W means weight. The weight would be equal to how much? Total volume of the wire multiplied by density is given. So, rho into volume, it is the weight. So, W, and how will calculate the volume of the wire? So, pi by 4 d square multiplied by L. So, that will give you the volume, volume multiplied by weight density will give you the total weight. So, weight would be calculated multiplied by L is given, that for 2 into area, area of the wire is pi by 4 d square, again you can calculate, and this is the modulus of elasticity. To WL upon 2A you can calculate separately, then you can club these two values and you will get the result. 12.03 is the right answer. So, you can do practice at your home by using different books. Now, this is the last topic for the day, it is the thermal stresses. So, till now we have discussed how we can apply the forces and they can generate these stresses inside the object, but by heating or cooling some objects we can also generate these stresses. Like in winters, if you want to see the rail tracks, you can see the rail tracks, they goes under contraction, or in the case of summers they can go under tension or elongation. So, these two are the best example of the thermal stresses. So, here we can see, so this is the rod and these two are the supports. So, what we are doing, let us say we are heating this object, this rod, we are heating this rod. So, what is happening to this rod? Because of its thermal expansion it is trying to expand, but we have restricted that expansion. So, what will happen to this rod? It will try to expand due to the thermal expansion, but due to this support we have restricted its entry, its expansion. So, it will create the thermal stresses. So, here the important role is this. So, if we will see, alpha is the coefficient of linear expansion, means for unit length, for unit degree of increment of temperature it increases the length. So, alpha is the change in length per unit degree per unit length of the object. So, alpha temperature, let us say we are increasing the temperature of this object by T degree centigrade. So, the total expansion would be alpha into T, and if the expansion is, this is alpha into T for unit length. Let us say we are having the length of this rod is L. So, total expansion would be how much? L alpha into T. So, here we can see the stresses would be how much? The ends of the bar are fixed so as to constrain the expansion. So, what would be the stress? Stress is equal to modulus of elasticity multiplied by epsilon strain, and this E into epsilon. So, E into epsilon is what? Strain is what? L alpha T. So, E alpha T, and strain is how much? L alpha T divided by how much? L. So, change in length upon original length. So, it would be cancel out. So, this is the strain. So, strain we can replace it. So, what is the formula for stress? It is the E into alpha into T. If we know the E, if we know the alpha, if we know the T, we can calculate the strain, and if we restrict the supports, then we can also say ki delta is the expansion prevented. So, L alpha T minus delta, So, we can calculate the stress if we are restricting the we are not able to restrict the supports, then it can also expand up to some extent, that is the delta. So, it will become E alpha t, then formula will become E into alpha t minus delta upon L. So, this is the formula. So, by this way we will we have discussed thermal stresses also. So, you practice at your home. Thank you for listening and watching. Thank you so much.